An important idea that you're going to want to utilize in your techniques is the idea of quadrants. We're going to divide your body into 4 pieces, and when an opponent punches or kicks at you, they have to enter at you through one of those quadrants, and it's going to help you narrow your choices of techniques to use for a given situation. So if I face you in a right neutral bow, imagine you take a marker and you're going to draw on the screen, and you're going to draw a vertical line through my center line and a horizontal line about where my belt is. Those are and then you've got the 4 squares left over, kind of like in math class with the XY grid. You've got your 4 quadrants. So up here, find my right temple, this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, down here is quadrant 3, and over here is quadrant 4. They're facing the same direction. They haven't changed, I just turned around. So this is still my quadrant 1, quadrant 2, here's quadrant 3, and over here's quadrant 4. If we switch stance, if we're in a left neutral bow, we have to reassign the quadrants because now everything is a mirror image. So now this is my quadrant 1, my lead shoulder, my lead temple area, this is my quadrant 1, my rear upper part is my quadrant 2, my rear lower quadrant is my quadrant 3, and down here is quadrant 4. So let's take a look here at the way the opponent might be striking and how those are going to enter our different quadrants. Let's say the opponent's facing me in a right neutral bow, and I happen to be facing him in a right neutral bow. He could punch or kick me just about any way, and there's no way I can predict it. But right now, while we have control over it, let's say he steps in with his left and he fires a left to my quadrant 1. Do you notice how it went around the outside of my lead hand and entered my quadrant 1? Do that one more time. We're here, and his strike enters my quadrant 1. Good. Go ahead and scoot back. Let's say he's facing me in a left neutral bow. And now he steps in with his right and he fires a right to my quadrant 2. Do you see how that went on the inside of my right hand? One more time. Now his strike is entering my quadrant 2. Good. He's still facing me in a left neutral bow. And now he's going to fire a right roundhouse kick to my quadrant 3, somewhere in here. He might be hitting my thigh or my groin, something like that. One more time. That's my quadrant 3. Switch stance. And now maybe a left front kick into my quadrant 4. Yeah, maybe he's hitting my thigh or my hip or my ribs, something like that. One more time. Kind of out here somewhere. Now let's consider the way he attacked me was kind of like this, sort of coming in from the outside. But now we have to look at what if his attacks are coming in sort of in a crossed manner. So let's say he's back in his right neutral bow, and he's going to fire a left punch, but now instead of coming around to my quadrant 1, let's say his left punch enters my quadrant 2. See how it comes on the inside there? One more time. It's on the inside of my right hand. Good. Now he's facing me in a left neutral, and his right punch is going to enter my quadrant 1. You see that? One more time. Maybe I would try to parry this way. He's still in his left neutral. He's going to fire a right kick, not to my quadrant 3 this time, but he's going to fire a right kick to my quadrant 4. Switch stance. And now a left kick to my quadrant 3. Anybody can hear that? All right. So, we've systematically looked at each way the opponent's attacks can enter our quadrants. Now, when the opponent strikes, he's not striking to miss. He's not trying to whiff through your through your quadrants. He's going to punch at my nose. And it's going to be up to me to move. I can get on the inside or I can get on the outside. If I go on the inside and I'm in a right neutral bow, that's my quadrant 2. If he punches at my nose and I slip to the outside, I've redirected the punch through my quadrant 1. So, realize how this thing works, how these quadrants work. So, let's give an example. Let's talk about delayed sword. If he's in a left neutral bow, and we're on guard, and he steps in with a right straight punch to my nose, go ahead and step in, I'm going to step back and strike with that inward block. And so now I've redirected that punch through my quadrant 2, kick to the groin, chop to the neck. So, make sure you can identify what quadrant the attack is coming through, and I will do my best to remind you. So there you have it, 4 quadrants.